Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Pink Floyd Completion Project. Today we are looking at the documentation of Roger Waters' uh, late 90s tour, late 90s, early 2000s tour, In the Flesh. Yes, he did. Yes, Pink Floyd did a tour under the name In the Flesh for Animals. This is Roger Waters' In the Flesh. This was his first tour after his Radio KAOS tour, and the first time he performed live, I believe, since The Wall in Berlin, because that, again, Pink Floyd beat him out on both previous tours, and he spent a shitload of money out of pocket on The Wall live in Berlin. So he was kind of out of it for a decade. It took him a little while to come back into the touring scene, but he did, and he made a live album that I'm sure in the second half does have great versions of songs if you listen to them objectively. But here's the thing. I sat listening to this for 2.5 hours. It's and that's the same length as Pulse. Pulse does not feel as long as this feels. Pulse feels like it's an hour and a half. This feels like it's 2.5 hours long. But we're going to start off with the first song, In the Flesh. Weirdly, it's the one from disc 2 of The Wall, side 4. So, it's the one with, all the fascist shit in it. I think it would have made more sense for him to open up with the original one, or with the first In the Flesh, because that's kind of like a universal stage opener. It's just like, hey, you probably weren't expecting to see some of this. It makes sense in a sort of meta context. But it's a pretty good opener. But Roger is very firmly into his old man voice era now. It's not like that on every song, but for a lot of them, he's very clearly aging. Um, Song number 2, Happiest Days of Our Lives. It's a decent performance. Brick 2, the children's choir is actually live, but the solo is too flashy for me. Snowy White. Snowy White tries too damn hard on this album a lot of the time. He really does. Um, you know, Mother, a woman sings Dave's vocals. She does a great job. Snowy does, okay on the guitar front. Get Your Filthy Hands Off My Desert is 57 seconds. That exists. Okay, and then that transitions cleanly into Southampton Dock. It's better than the Floyd original, actually. So, and then you have Pigs on the Wing Part 1. It's there. And then you have Dogs. John Caron, yes, the one who toured with the Floyd, who, gave Rick some support on the Division Bell tour. Yes, he toured with Roger. He sings Dave's part, does a great job subbing in for him, as does Snowy White on the guitar front. Nothing else really to say. Welcome to the Machine. It's got these chilling backing vocals. And there's a Pink Floyd tribute band that I've seen several times, and they're pretty damn good. Brit Floyd, and they do a great version of Welcome to the Machine, and it's very clearly based on this. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Wish You Were Here, nothing nothing that will top the original. Nothing will top Pulse. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, parts 1 to 8. John Caron is not Rick Wright. Snowy White is not David Gilmour, and there is no sax solo. If that gives you any indication about how I feel about that version of Shine On You Crazy Diamond. It's just not the same without Dave and Rick, man. Those long instrumentals are not the same without Dave and Rick. And then a very pleasant surprise, Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun to close off disc 1. Roger sounds great. There's an added sax solo and a very cool jam in the middle. And a pretty decent guitar solo out of Snowy White, I will say. Or maybe Andy Fairweather Low. And And then we've got Speak to Me / Breathe. John Caron once again takes vocals. It's a pretty damn good performance, although the song's pretty damn good and I wasn't super burnt out yet. That changes. Time, it's alright, and Snowy White tries too hard again. Money, Doyle Bramhall takes lead vocals for some reason. Norbert Stachel is not Dick Perry. Snowy needs to quit being so goddamn flashy. Every Stranger's Eyes, which is, from Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, it still sucks. It still sucks. Perfect Sense Part 1 and 2. See the Amused to Death review. I'll link that in the description. Brain Damage and... Oh, fuck. Oops. Bravery of Being Out of Range. It becomes a stadium rock anthem. Snowy finally understands the assignment. Song number 19, It's a Miracle. See Amused to Death review. Same thing with the title track of Amused to Death. Brain Damage and Eclipse. It's not as impactful as the original album, but it is a nice breath of short songs in between, because, It's a Miracle and Amused to Death are 8 and 9 minutes long, respectively. They're really fucking long for all the more musically dense they are. And at a certain point, it's just like, end. Please, end the song. End the fucking song. But it keeps going. Comfortably Numb, Doyle Bramhall, and Snowy White are never going to match Gilmore's excellence, nor is Andy Fairweather Low. They do the guitar dueling thing again. It's still a great fucking song, though. And then Each Small Candle, it was a previously unreleased song. It feels like an outtake from Amused to Death. It almost feels like the title track part 2. It's long, it's boring, it doesn't need to be here. They should have just ended with Comfortably Numb. It's just, the album needed to end. It needed to fucking end. It didn't need to go for 2.5 hours. You had a great ending with Comfortably Numb. I'm sure the people there were like, that was fucking awesome. Why is he playing another song? That's probably how they felt. This is just so fucking long and so immensely boring. Personnel, Snowy White and Andy Fairweather Low on guitar, and Doyle Bramhall on guitar. Andy Wallace and John Caron on keys, Graham Broad and P.P. Arnold on drums, Norbert Stachel on sax, and Katie Kissoon and Suzanne Melvoin on backing vocals. It's not something you need to listen to. Like, unless you're a fan of Roger's versions of Pink Floyd songs on his own, and his... Like, really the only reason to listen to it is to hear stuff from Amused to Death performed live. Like, and even then you only need to listen to the second half of disc 2. It's really long, in the second half of disc 2. You get really bored. So again, like, this is another one for the Floyd completionists. Like, again, it's not bad. I just don't need to listen to it again anytime soon, because it's 2.5 hours of, just kind of meh performances. But it's, again, at least Roger Waters hasn't gone full nutcase yet. We'll get there. So, yeah. Next time we are looking at... fucked up my outro, sorry. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. If you have something to add, please do so in the comment section down below. If you want to continue along this musical journey with me, we're almost done. I think I want to get it done by December 1st. I think I can do it. Again, but if you want to continue along this musical journey with me for all the more that's left, please feel free to subscribe. If you want to hear me talk about something other than music, I have a podcast with 2 of my buddies. It's called Dorkies. We actually did an episode the night before I'm recording this, and if you and I will link that in the description below. It's, not super evergreen, but I think you should give it a listen. And if you want to hear what I happen to be listening to that day, or a 15-second segment at least, you can follow me at Sean_Heastern1979 on Instagram. I post a 15-second segment of a song on my story there every single day. And with that, I would like to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one, which will be David Gilmour in Concert from 2002. Bye-bye.